Is there a character in My Little Pony more deserving or overdue for an episode than Big Macintosh? Introduced in the very first episode, and first featured prominently as far back as episode 4 of season 1, Big Mac has had a lot of recurring screen time throughout all 4 seasons of MLP. However, despite Lauren Faust wanting the elder Apple sibling to have an episode all his very own, DHX has never thought it worth it to spotlight Mac in his own episode. All is not lost, however, as in August of 2013, IDW stepped up to the plate and released Zen and the Art of the Gazebo, a 2-issue story centered entirely around Big Macintosh. It may not be his own episode, but perhaps this might have been an even better alternative. One of the biggest reasons this comic is such a treat is because of the people behind it. After a 4-issue hiatus for Nightmare Rarity, Katie Cook and Andy Price are back at the helm here. The duo bring with them a return to form for the comic series after the lackluster second arc, and the art and the writing return to their former glory. Mac has more personality than ever, as one would expect. The Crusaders are delightfully juvenile. Luna makes a brief but hilarious appearance, and all of this is rendered in fantastic visual quality. That being said though, Zen and the Art of the Gazebo, colloquially referred to as the Big Mac arc, is a massive departure from the first 2 storylines of the comics in a variety of ways. First and foremost, it's half the length, dropping from 4 issues down to just 2. Second is, instead of chronicling the main 6 facing some massive world-ending challenge, we instead focus on a slice-of-life narrative starring Big Macintosh and his daily life in Ponyville. More difficult to phrase, though, is that this is a much more subtle chain of continuity in this pair of books. Because the story is slice-of-life and the conflict is so down-to-earth, the happenings in issue 9 and 10 feel a lot less structured than either of the previous arcs. Characters come and go at a rapid-fire pace as Mac makes his way through the summer wrap-up fair, and the narrative present is less of one cohesive story and more of a sequence of loosely connected events centered around the day in the life of a single character. It's kind of hard to really judge issues 9 and 10 as a typical piece of narrative work like I usually do in these videos because of this fact. The aspect is simultaneously the book's greatest strength for the reasons I just mentioned, but it's also its biggest weakness, as it isn't as engrossing as a single focused narrative. At least it wasn't to me. I found myself constantly wishing I had a bit more grounding in something other than I just want to find some nails, but this is entirely subjective, so your mileage may vary here. But to hold that above the book's head seems to be a bit unfair to me, considering that was never the intention of the book to begin with. So let's just take a look at what the book is trying to be: a collection of moments. Under this lens, the story does really well, letting us see nearly all of Ponyville's residents interact with a character who has gotten 0 presence in the series proper. Big Mac narrating the whole story is a lot of fun, as not only does it allow the book to keep up the yep, nope shtick that he does, but it also clues us into the fact that he is far more opinionated of a character than one might have thought. This book overall gives us a great look at who he is, and on the other side of these 2 issues, I really want to get a legitimate Big Mac episode now that plays off this concept this character is presented as here. I doubt we'll ever get one, but I think it'd be extremely interesting. The bread and butter of these comics though is the humor, and in this regard, the Big Mac arc succeeds with flying colors. From the Crusaders' continual pyrotechnic conundrums to Big Mac unwittingly courting a Wonderbolt to Princess Luna's surprise appearance, this book continually hits the mark every time it tells a joke. And that's really all I have to say about this one. It's just a supremely entertaining roller coaster of hijinks filled with a ton of your favorite minor characters from the show. It's 48 pages of pure, undiluted fun. Coming off the Nightmare Rarity arc, this was a massive breath of fresh air and a much needed change of pace. Zen and the Art of the Gazebo was another great tale of ponydom from the star pair of Katie Cook and Andy Price, and solidified the duo as the definitive team for making these books in my eyes, and considering the large amount of con appearances the two have made since then, I doubt I'm alone on that.